Welcome back to the Girl Cave and welcome back to Tool Time Tuesday. The tool that we are focusing on for February is the sewing machine. Now, if you don't have a sewing machine, stay tuned because I'm going to give you some options. But the first thing that I want to do, assuming that you do have a sewing machine, is get yourself an index card and make yourself a little sample. So take your favorite stitches and then sew on your index card. And then write down the measurement. So this is the stitch length. You can make them shorter, like right here. You see that the distance between each little peak is less than this one. The stitch length was at level 1 here and level 2 for this one. And it is the exact same stitch. These are my straight stitch. And again, I did at stitch length 2, 3, and 4. I don't do the stitch length 1 for a straight stitch because it is too close together and it rips the paper. Like this is a third stitch that I like to use. I like it because it looks a little thicker. Length of 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you start sewing on your paper, if you're going to sew straight on your 12 by 12 paper, you're going to have threads at the beginning. That's perfect. Let them be a little bit longer, and the same at the end. When you finish your stitch line, you can just take it out of the machine and leave a longer tail. I'm going to show you what to do with that. You can also start it and do a little back stitch. So you sew like 3 stitches, you back stitch, or you go in reverse and right on top of the other stitches, and then come back down. So that will secure the stitch so it does not come out. It's always a good idea to make sure that your beginning is secured as well as your end. Another way that you could end this, turn it to the back side, and you're going to, with your seam ripper, because it has a very, very thin point, is pull out the back thread. And then you can take both and you could just tie them at this point. Take them together, make a little knot, and then at that point you can snip close to the knot, or you could use washi tape to secure it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I took a piece of paper and I cut a heart out of it, and then I stitch between 1/4 to 1/2 inch off the edge. So I was going for the very primitive look, and I made sure to not sew over the same stitch, but that you could see both stitching lines. Sometimes I'll even do a 3rd stitch line just on one area to make it look very, very primitive, almost like it's hand sewn. And then this one, you see that I used the washi tape on the back to secure my threads, and I left them long, but at this point I can just cut that off. And then for this one, I actually like the threads like that. So I did tie them. I don't know if you can see right there. They are tied, so they're not going to come apart. But I am leaving the little tails long because I kind of like that look. I'm going for a very primitive, very handmade look. If you don't have a sewing machine, there are options for you. The first option is this punch by Dress My Craft. And I love this punch because it has such a beautiful finished look to it. And at this point, I could use some DMC floss or even baker's twine and weave it. Come up from the bottom always to start out so that the knot is on the back side, and then go down, come back up, like just absolutely beautiful. So there you have that. There are these tools. Some of you might have these. They are cutter bee bugs. These are quite old. Push out the mechanism and it has these little piercing tools. This one has a double row. So what you would do is you're going to always need a mouse pad. Get yourself an inexpensive one. and you would press down on your paper, not too hard, and then just roll it, and it would pierce. See, this one has a double piercing. So at this point, I could just sew right here and sew there, or I could sew like a cross stitch, go from this point to this point to this point, like that. And then when I get to the end of the row, come back the other way, and it would look like I have little X's. Very cute. The only thing with these, it's difficult to have a straight line, or at least I have difficulty with that. This one is a single one, and again, press down on your paper, and this one has a straight stitch. For some reason, the straight stitch is a little bit easier to keep straight. You can also get a little piercing tool from the Dollar Tree, and then just do your own little piercing. And I'm going to link a video down in the description box where last year during Through the Rainbow series, I made my own stitching pattern. They sell stitching patterns online, but I could not find one that I wanted to use, so I made my own. So I'm going to link that video below so that you can see how easy it is to make your own stitching pattern. Another tool that you might find still out there are these. These are by So Easy, and it came with it looked like a pen, like a gray pen, and then you would open it, and in there you could store your needles. But I don't know what happened to mine. I think I lost it or I threw it out, but I still have the little heads. So this one shows you right there the stitching pattern. Very cute. Same process. Put it down on paper, press, and roll it. And then stitch right there. Start from the bottom, come on up here, and then stitch around like that, and continue. That would make a beautiful little border. And then this one makes a little chain of daisies. Absolutely beautiful. So you would start at the middle and then sew around the little loops. And same concept, just put it down and press, and there you go. Then another tool that you could use is this little wheel. So this is for tracing sewing patterns. You can find these on Amazon. They're super cheap, or you could get them at Joann's. They're really inexpensive. And you would just use your ink pad in any color that you want. Get the ink going on that little metal wheel. You just go like that, and it looks very tiny. You can go over it twice, but again, you're never gonna fall right on this. I mean, it is almost impossible to get it on the same line. So it's gonna have that what do you call it, like primitive look. You can also just go, you know, like that several times, so it's a different look. And the last option that I have for you is get yourself a rubber stamp. Look at this beautiful set. I got this off Amazon, and I've actually used this one on one of the layouts that I made about my Roomba. I will link that video below as well so that you can see how I used it. You have like 2 lines there. This one, look how beautiful. You have that. The little, oh, look at this straight stitch. That is perfect. And you even have a zigzag. So these are great options for you if you don't have a sewing machine, or you don't want to invest in a sewing machine, or even take a sewing machine with you to a crop. I don't take my sewing machine when I go to a crop, but I do carry these, and I do take this sometimes. I always have these hanging from my tote bag. And a lot of times I also take the punch. Now the beauty of this punch is that you can use it with your baker's twine or your DMC floss, and these are like 25 cents. Very inexpensive, and they don't take up a lot of space. But definitely use this and sew through it, like weave it in and out, in and out. Or I could just layer it over a different colored cardstock and it'll come through. So you have different looks. So this one would be just a little look of color. This one would actually add the texture to it. So depending on the look that you're going for, right? Lots of options. So now I'm going to share with you what I'm working on for this layout. So I want to give a shout out to the Netherlands because I'm using a sticker sheet by Kelly Panachi from the Netherlands. And this is Sandy Lion. Sandy Lion. Okay, that is super old stuff. So I've already gone and I've sewn over my hearts. And again, I like that primitive look. So I did a double stitch over it. And for this one, I used the washi tape on the back to secure it. And this one, I tied a knot there rather than pulling it through the back because I love this look. So it's tied there, it's secure, but I also left the tails long because I just love it. It has a very handmade look to it. And that's what I was going for. So here we go. Hopefully I can get this layout done quickly. So I think I'm going to use this as the background because I was thinking of using this one, but it's very flat. And even though you don't see a lot of the paper, you see some of the paper. I just did a little bit so that you could see it. Let me cut the manufacturing strip off and wait till you see my picture. It's adorable. It is adorable and very appropriate for the month of February. Next week we have Scylla, we have Kelly, Leanne, and Terry. They will be sharing their layout using the sewing machine or maybe hand stitching. I don't know what they're doing, but the tool was sewing machines or sewing equipment. This one I'm going to put all the way to the edge there because I'm going to put a sticker sheet there and you're not even going to see it. So I like that. I might have to come back here and tear just a little bit more. And you know, I have a tearing ruler. When was the last time I used it? It's been a while. I keep tearing things with my hand, which I love the look, but sometimes tearing ruler is a good option as well because it's very, how do I say this? It's more of a controlled tear than if you do it by hand. But I'm just going to not only tear it, but like I want to rough it up just a little bit on the edge. That's the look that I'm going for. Just to give it a little bit more texture. I don't like things too flat. So I'm looking for texture, texture, texture. And this is going to be fairly quickly because the one thing that took the longest was sewing. Actually, that's not even true. The one thing that took the longest was cutting out the heart shape because I did it. I didn't use a template and my hearts kept coming out a little weird. But I got it. I got it to work. Thank goodness for pencils and erasers, right? And then I'm going to use my Sandy Lion sticker. I have it right here. I'm going to put it on the edge. And this sticker has that torn look as well. So when I saw the sticker, I decided that I wanted to tear the paper as well. Carry on that theme. Look at that. So pretty. So now I'm going to place my hearts. And again, I want it like that. Now, before I stitch this down, I need to make sure that my picture fits perfectly. because I do want to see the edge of my heart there. Okay, so like that. Is it straight? That's straight. Okay, so I got that one. And then I'm gonna put it down here. Make sure it's straight. Attach it right there, and now I can do the whole thing. And attach it to my background paper. Right there. Now I am not done because I'm going to do just a little bit more stitching, and in this case I'm going to stitch straight onto the paper. And I'll be right back. Now I left the tails at the beginning and a longer tail at the end. Because it's right at the edge, all I'm going to do is bring it to the back. I could tie it, so I might as well do that. But again, not too tight because I don't want to rip the paper. So I'm going to do a little knot, double knot right there, and do the same thing here, and then I will secure it with some washi. So now I want to move these to the side so they don't get caught, because I'm going to use this right here for these little banners. So like that. Okay, so I want the E right there so it looks like it's hanging. Look at that. Isn't that cute? And there. My layout is done. And what I'll do with these little threads is right there, I'm going to put just a tiny, tiny little dot of art glitter glue so that it stays curled like that, because I want it curled just like that. And this is a beautiful picture of my parents in Italy, in Calle del Beso, which is the Kiss Street. So I hope this inspires you to get out your sewing machine, or maybe some of your older tools that you have, and do some stitching on your paper. And don't forget to check out the other girls. Next week you have Scylla, Kelly, Leanne, and Terry. And then the third week of the month we have Ginger, Anna, Becky, Nikki, and Tara. And on the fourth week we have Michelle, Emily, Jenny, Saray, and Daisy. So I hope that you really enjoy this series. And if you would please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. I have a personal goal of reaching 2,000 subscribers before my birthday, and I'm so close. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave me a comment below, and I will see you again next week. Bye!